Hearthstats Champions League Season 1. Round of 8. Gaara versus Dart.
Okay, so we see some interesting cards for Dart. We did see the Southsea Deckhand, which is certainly not too uncommon in Oil Rogue at this point, and the Piloted Shredder. This feels like kind of the standard Rogue deck that we're seeing in the meta right now.
Yeah, it seems like a very aggressive oil deck with Deckhand. Some people still swap it. They play more free drops instead of Deckhand. Some people cut one oil, but with Deckhand, it telegraphs the second oil for sure. And for Gaara, Gaara got a Wild Growth and Innervate and a couple of important cards. So what do you think about this matchup overall, where Gaara is playing, also after the Wild Growth, like Gaara is playing this aggressive Druid, mostly with combo. I think he's playing one Force of Nature, but still he's playing cards like Piloted Shredder and Double Savager. Who has an advantage?
It's difficult to say. I think having seen the cards come into hand for Gaara, like you said, the Wild Growth, the Innervate coming to hand, I think in particular that Swipe could make all the difference, because Oil Rogue relies on getting those miracle-esque turns for the Violet Teachers, and that Swipe, if you could get Swipe plus Hero Power, because it's going to be turn 5, if he's going to be well above turn 4, so he'd probably even be able to do a Swipe plus Hero Power to clear out the Violet Teacher and everything that Dart would be able to get off with the Apprentices.
I certainly agree with that. The swipe will be very important at some point, but right now we are going to see a Shredder on Shredder action, and it's again some RNG there with whoever gets what from the Shredders. But Gaara's play with Sludge Belcher helps him to stop the Shredder from his opponents, and Dart has to make a decision here what to do, and he decides to sap, which is a good decision. He deals with the Sludge Belcher, and for 2 mana he actually cancels the 5 mana card for 1 turn at least.
That patience, that's one of the worst, I think, to get off that, though. It can, sometimes it can do damage, and I guess it can actually trade with the 4/3 of the Shredder body here, but it's certainly not the scariest thing to see. That was a pretty aggressive turn from Dart, and I guess that's what you got to be looking for. He's going to silence the Shredder here and then use that Patient Assassin. Wow, that mini Myexna is going to get some work done against the Piloted Shredder, and going to see the Shredder come down from Gaara now.
Yeah, Shredder is such a powerful card. For turn 4, it has good stats, good attack. Even though it can easily be dealt with because it only has free health, you are getting a minion back. And those minions that come back, like Patient Assassin, or Lord Walker Cho, or Doomsayer, or even like Millhouse Mana Storm, they do create very complicated boards. Like whenever I see the board with Piloted Shredder, I have to really think a lot about what to do in what order, and think like what is the worst card that can spawn from the Shredder. Here, just a 3/2, which is a blank. It's probably fine for Dart. It could have been worse, but still for Gaara, it is giving him a chance to trade with the 3/3.
Yeah, the whole Piloted Mech series, and obviously mostly the Piloted Shredder, it's the most common one, the best value at this point in most of the decks in the meta. The whole Piloted Mech series in GVG have really kind of whole equation of board trading in the game of Hearthstone right now.
Yeah, it's actually amazing. So with this matchup right now, Gaara's plan is basically to attack as much as possible because Rogue doesn't have any taunts. So Gaara's plan is to deal damage every turn. On the other hand, for Dart...
Ooh, that's a top deck.
Yes. Oh my god. That's a turn 8 card you always want to play against the empty board.
And this is getting to be scary amounts of damage for Dart. Hasn't been able to get anything off the Violet Teachers. No backstabs, no preps. Sprint isn't what needed. I guess Dr. Boom's going to create the most targets for Ragnaros on the board.
Can Gaara? Oh
yeah,
my
that's super lethal now, actually, because he had the swipe. He had the swipe before, so actually it was lethal well before that. But another very quick game from this Druid, and Gaara has brought it back to 2-2. We're going to have one game to decide it here in this best of 5 series. It's going to be the Druid versus the Paladin in the final game. Nimsh,
Wow.
We've said it.